This person of interest time here on Morning Express. Stay with us because it's going to be one riveting discussion. Mheshimiwa, thank you very much for joining us. Nandi Hills, Member of Parliament, Alfred Keter. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, karibu sana. And with the fiery and no holds bad MP and Hills MP, Alfred Keter. You must remember him from the person who came out and said the standard gauge railway, there's some shoddy dealings in it. You know, and managed to pull the president and his deputy off to Eldoret and Rift Valley to quell these fears and fires. But let's set the stage for Alfred Keter.
You cannot
come back to that clip, but Mheshimiwa, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, James.
Tell me, as we even wait for that clip, why do you feel, you know, that it's your job and incumbent to you, right, to raise the flag, to tell of your leaders, you know, why do you feel it's in your space and place to do that?
I have a responsibility. When I was elected, I ran on a platform of change and going ahead to handle issues in terms of raising them and trying to give solutions, not just mentioning that there are problems, but being as part of decision making, trying to engage in a manner that is going to provide solutions for the problems Kenyans are facing.
The problems that Kenya are facing. Now we're ready with that clip. Let's just listen in so that we get into this conversation proper.
And I want to ask the Deputy President, because the buck stops at him. We elected the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta because the respect and the loyalty we gave to Deputy President William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto. He needs to stand firm and understand that the Kalenjin community, the Nandi community, are complaining because their son, who has worked hard over 30 years to build a career, cannot be spoiled by just a lady by the name Waiguru in one day, then the next minute we have a Githinji in the name of restructuring.
Right, let's start from there. Yeah, you clearly put it out there, you know, and no uncertain terms. Let's start with this NYS appointment, right? Nelson Githinji has been appointed in the place of Onarugut. What is your issue with that?
The issue is a matter of procedures and rules. It started on a Saturday when Rugur received a message that he should not appear on Sunday because he is being sacked. Then on a Sunday, he got a text that he needs to hand over on Monday. It is strange to us because this is someone that has built his career being a district officer to being a district commissioner to the levels of a provincial commissioner and now a director general at a National Youth Service. He has the expertise, he has the experience, his credibility is not in question. So why replace him just in the name of you want to restructure? What element of experience or expertise is he missing so that you need Githinji to move forward? He is the one who did the proposal to Chinese to get the 5 billion to work on some programs in National Youth Service. And now when the money is in, you don't need him. It's a matter of concern, not just because he comes from my community, but it's a feeling. It is important we protect our professionals in terms of if we want to remove them or we feel they should be transferred, let us base our engagements to the rule of law, their procedures.
The Deputy President has not come out, you know, to say either or you know, and the statement that has come from his office is that this is a normal restructuring that happens every single day in government. So
and that is part of why we were complaining, because last year when I started engaging government, asking a lot of questions in terms of our party, United Republican Party, is being treated. I thought and I had a feeling that we were shortchanged. But today, it is more than that.
Do you feel that URP is being shortchanged?
It is more than being shortchanged because I should see people complaining. I want to see not necessarily the Deputy President, but the leadership of United Republican Party saying, well, we're missing on this and this one. I feel they are compromised. They no longer have a stand on issues. It is just being interest, and they are driven by other motives and not the interest of, United Republican Party is a national party. When I started mentioning about we are being shortchanged, some people thought that I was complaining because my community and are not getting space. It is bigger than that. United Republican Party is all over the country. We're in Coast, we're in Northeastern, we're in Rift Valley, we're in Nyanza, we're in Western. The two members of parliament from the Teso community are both URP. In the entire Mandera is URP. They are national parties. We want to see all Kenyans getting space in this government because the two parties we are engaging, as TNA, the ruling parties, TNA and URP, are both national parties.
So where's the problem? As you look at it, you are the only one who's going out and asking for these things and raising these questions. Where do you feel the problem is?
First, it is not easy to raise a flag when you see issues because you face a lot of challenges. But I feel I have a responsibility given to me by people when they elected me last year, March. And when you see there are things that are not working well, you have to complain. The reason, James, we are lacking behind like this after 50 years of independence is because of such issues. The Malaysians and Koreans, who then we were at par in terms of economic indicators. You could, we were, if the levels of illiteracy was equal, levels of poverty, we were equal, the levels at which we could handle disease and healthcare, we were equal. And now, they have an economy that is over 100 times our economy. How did we go wrong? How did they get it right? It is because of most of these issues we don't get it right. We should accommodate each and every Kenyan. We should work on programs that are going to support the youths in terms of employment. You look at, they are now complaining that they cannot afford school fees because higher education laws board are coming down and the fees are going up. How do you expect those children from a background where they have survived to manage primary school, they went to public secondary school, some were in day schools, now to raise about 100,000? It is almost impossible unless you want to deny them education. It is in our constitution that they have to get education. Let us address such issues. That is the only way we can move forward. When I raised on the railway, most Kenyans thought that I was just raising it for the sake of it. Many stories were told that Keter is advocating for this because he missed a contract, or he speaks on behalf of those contractors who failed to get a contract. But if you remember, I was complaining because there was no tendering process, so there is no one who lost. And I was complaining as a mother of, it is law. It was a question of the engagements were not done as per the proper procedures of tendering process, where you have to subject a contract of that magnitude to a competitive process.
I want to ask you, do you talk to the Deputy President? What does he say about this question that you've raised in public?
He is like on Rugu's issue.
Yes.
He has been away, and we're expecting to talk to him about it. Some members of parliament met him before he flew. and he said he will handle it, only to see Kithinji being sworn in one evening. And we were surprised, what is happening with this? It is not that we are insisting that Rugut should stay there. But if there are credibility issues which are in question, because we don't doubt his experience, and we don't doubt his expertise. We don't, if it is a question of there were issues in National Youth Service, we want Kenyans to be told, so that we don't victimize professionals in the name of we want to restructure.
1 year down the line, about 1 year down the line in this government, and a lot of questions has been raised. In the last week, it's been said it's possibly the lowest this government has ever been, all right, in terms of the Anglo leasing contracts. We have all this insecurity that is coming on. Kenyans, you know, are feeling not part of this government, you know, and increasingly feeling so. What do you think this government has done right and done wrong in the last 1 year?
I think majority are about 90% wrong. When you see, I'm complaining. I'm really complaining, because this is a government that we laid all our hopes. We engaged young Kenyans, telling them that when we form government, we were almost certain that we'll form government, because we knew we had young people in the name of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto, who Kenyans could see and weigh between CORE and Jubilee, who can really move forward. But today, James, I miss Kibaki. I miss Moi, because they could make decisions. Our brothers have failed us in terms of they can make decisions. Look at the way security is being handled. We want to see someone losing his job, because people are sitting on their jobs. The security of all Kenyans is at stake. I was in Mombasa about 2 weeks ago, and most Kenyans, I met some of them in Kwale district, Kwale County, that is South Coast, and they were telling me, now Mheshimiwa, you should stop talking about the railway now and raise issues concerning security. And I asked them, what do you think is not in place? They were telling me, look at this ferry. If anybody could access it with some weapons, Kenyans will perish, because there is no security measures in place. If you've been to South Coast of late, you will realize that for you to get to the ferry, there are no serious security measures. I've seen how we handle it. Is so casual. We need to really invest in security. The only sure way you can move forward. I was watching KTN this morning when issues of tourism were being raised. And one of the key elements of addressing tourism is security and infrastructure. But you look at it, what infrastructure in place? Our roads are in pathetic conditions. When you go to Mombasa, you cannot believe there's a tourist attraction. I think some of the tourists are coming to see or now park what we are. And we have a lot of sceneries and wildlife, which should, to me, should be attracting tourism. Our security is so casual. Kenyans, it is only God who is really securing Kenyans. And I want to see my brothers making decisions on that.
Why are they not? Because this is what is puzzling. Why are they not?
You look at the Anglo-leasing, the way they handled it. They say they can't make a decision. They needed to take it to Parliament for parliamentary approval. Then they tried bringing it to Parliament, and it was hostile. Now it was taken back to them. And you see what is happening. They cannot make a decision.
But why can't they? They have the majority in Parliament, Keter. You, both in Senate, both in the National Assembly, there's majority. Why can't they make a decision? Why do you think that the President and his deputy feel threatened? By what or by who?
I think they were not prepared to form government. It is us supporters who really wanted them to form government. You remember our president, at some point, he had signed a pact to support the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. And there was confusion. They were not really prepared to form government. If they were, by now they should be making serious decisions. 1 year down the line, Kenyans are complaining. And not just Kenyans, even as some members of parliament who serve in this government, who are part of Jubilee, we are really making complaints.
But they listen to you? Do they listen to you when
Sometimes they listen to us, but you know they are surrounded by psychopaths. Psychopaths who just want to tell them things are happening right. Nothing is wrong. It is just Keter who is complaining for selfish interests, or I don't know. And when you see, you know, psychopaths, if you read the history of this country, failed Kenyatta government, they went ahead and failed Moi government, came to Kibaki government, and they also equally failed. Kibaki Raila government failed, and now they're in Uhuru Ruto government trying to massage the egos of our brothers, telling them that you are right, you're on track, and they are missing the point. Because Kenya has expected too much. The youths expected employment. What is happening? They are telling us about wage bill. They should have told us last year that they can't manage the wage bill so that we weigh on whether to support them or not. Because they told us they will create jobs within 100 days. They promised Kenyans that within 2 years, the economy will be double digits. But we are coming down. So I don't know.
Still on that question of the things that this government has done that are not wrong, like I've said, possibly, and the question people are asking is, why Kenyans increasingly feel that this government, the Jubilee government, is not taking them in and making them part of this government in terms of appointment? Because you look at it, you know, however you look at it, you know, we've done a breakdown of all that. And over 60% of these jobs is going to two communities. Why is that right?
It is sad, James, that when we want to have people to sit in offices, we don't judge them as per the credibility issues and experience and expertise. It is a matter of we want to really focus on the tribes they belong, the communities they come from, the regions they come from, instead of working on how people can move forward the economy of this country, how someone can sit in an office to make, to transform the institutions they are running. It is sad. We want to see a TESO, a Kuria, Borana sitting in top offices of institutions in this country, so that because they are part of Kenya, and the question is whether they have the experience and the credibility of which I don't think there is a community without people with that background of experience and with credentials that suit the offices that we want. That is part of why we are complaining. You know, as a young person, we are not tribal. Most of us young people, if you see the trend of intermarriages among the young people, to us tribalism is a question of we don't know. We just look at it and we cannot understand. When I made complaints over our goods issue, most people ask me, Keter, we have trusted you as a nationalist, but why are you resorting to fighting for your community? It's not about community interest. The way Rugut was treated, I've seen Central Province TNA members complaining. The Honorable Linturi is the one bringing essential motion against CS Waguru. It is not a Kalenjin issue. Rugut has served Kenyans in all the regions. Recently, he was in Central Province, serving as a provincial commissioner. And you saw what he did with Mungiki. He did Kenya's a great, if you were to go there, most residents of Central Province are really complaining that you lost someone who was so focused in his duties, who could really bring change when needed. When he was told to really fight against Mungiki, he did it. And you saw Central Province at some point, there was a lot of security. So it was not a question of I'm fighting for him because he comes from my community. But let us follow law. Let us restrict our engagement to law.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the standard gauge railway, and I have a clip of what you said during that time on the matters of standard gauge railway. I'd like to play that now so that we get into it and see what exactly is the problem with the standard gauge railway and why, and the issues that you've been raising regarding the standard gauge railway. Let's take a listen.
You cannot have the same contractor giving you the history of a feasibility study, the design, costing, bill of quantities, then you are giving the same contractor the contract. It does not happen anywhere in the world. It is conflict of interest. And that is the reason why China Road and Bridges Corporation made it like they were doing Kenya as a favor by doing the study for free. It is not a favor. They know how to get back their money elsewhere along the way.
Right, standard gauge railway. All right, you were here, about 2 weeks ago. It's signed, delivered, regardless of the issues you raised. What are the issues that you wanted to raise? One key central issue that you have with the standard gauge railway and that deal. What is it?
The question of procedures. We should have followed the laid down procedures for engaging tendering processes, where it must be competitive. Article 227 of our Constitution is very clear that you have to engage in a manner that is fair, that is transparent. The spirit of that law is Kenyans must have value for their money. If you see how it went with the railway, it was not done that way. And they told us there is something to do with the Chinese when they're engaging. They want their contractors to have the contracts, of which we agreed. We were not questioning whether it should be Japanese or Koreans or Americans who are doing the contract. Let us leave it to Chinese, but allow the Chinese contractors to compete. We've seen that happen in Kenya. And if you remember when I was doing my presentation, I took a letter that was written by Kenya when he was then a PS Finance in 2007. He wrote a letter to the Ambassador, China then, Some Lee, that requesting to a certain contract to be subjected to a competitive process. And after 2 weeks, Chinese wrote a letter that was affirmative to that was supportive to Kenya's request. That China, we encourage competitiveness and we support that. We have no problem with that. And there was another tender of CCTV, and most of these contracts were based on with the sourcing of the funds were 100% concessional loan. Not the same case. It's a different case with the railway, because the railway is 85% loan, not concessional loan, 85% loan, of which some of it is commercial loan, and part of it is concessional. 15% Kenyans are going to sort out using the railway levy. And so there is nothing different. It is just CS Kamau's ways of lying to Kenyans that it is again as the engagements of Chinese laws and stuff. And I wonder, Chinese must be watching us and are like, look at this Kenya. You know, Chinese are all over the world. They are corrupt in Kenya because our systems allow them to corrupt. Chinese are in Canada. They are in Singapore. They are in America. They are in Europe. But they are not corrupt there.
So we are allowing them here to...
We are allowing them to corrupt because our systems allow them to corrupt. And I'm not against Chinese having contracts in Kenya, but I'm against the way they're engaging us, having processes that are not procedural. You just come with a tender, a contract, based on a feasibility study that was done by the same contractor who wants to get a job. You know, it's like you're moving to a courtroom, and you are the judge, you are the prosecutor, you are a witness, and you are the accused, and you are a court clerk. And someone wants to win a case against you. It becomes impossible. They are the ones who are doing the feasibility study, coming up with a bill of quantities, doing the costing, and they are lecturing us on how they should go ahead and have the contract and supervise themselves. Even supervision, we are leaving to them.
So do you think this is a shoddy deal?
Very shoddy. It is a matter of time Kenyans will know. In 2002, when Anglo leasing was signed, no Kenyan complained. It is so easy to append a signature. But later on, the consequences. You can see the way the president is so sad that he's parting with 1.4 billion. But one day, and I want Kenyans to mark that, I want to be on record, one day, one president will be really complaining in terms of whether to pay China Road and bridges or not. Because it's a matter of time. You see what wants to happen to us, James. Eh? It's not a question of just the costing in terms of the amounts that we're engaging. You see, it is more than that. One, these people will come here with their prisoners in the name of they are now casual laborers. These people will come with all the materials, wheelbarrows, everything. And then, where are you placing our young Kenyans? They need employment. And that's one of the ways you can create employment. Having big contracts like those, you have to engage Kenyans to do the normal jobs. They cannot lecture us that we are Kenyans that don't know how to clear.
Well, let me just get questions for you that are coming in via Twitter. And one of the critics asks, you don't seem to make these noises in Parliament. Mm-hmm. You only happen to make these noises outside Parliament. Mm-hmm. What committees do you sit in Parliament?
Agriculture Committee. And I'm very, I'm one of the people who took issues to do with tea, maize farming. I've done a lot if you were to ask the members of, the systems of Parliament now is not a question of engaging too much in plenary, but at the committee level. Mm-hmm. And that is where we put a lot of, they should read their answer. I think people don't know that, we are over 300 and something members of Parliament.
Yes.
Members of the National Assembly. And for you to engage at the plenary, it is very, very few of us can manage to...
So you still believe that you do a good job in Parliament? So that
at the committee
people
level.
Of Nandi Hills employed you to do, you're doing it?
At the committee level.
Okay.
I've done a lot.
Otieno asks, you no longer stand for what you used to stand for. Has the government greased your palms?
No. Well, there was that outcry by most Kenyans. They were asking, where is this Keter? And I want to inform Kenyans that there are ways, Parliament is a house of rules where there are standing orders which could not allow most of us to talk about the railway because it was a subject that was before Parliament. Even at the moment, we are restricted to engage on those issues of railway, because the report was tabled in Parliament by Parliamentary Committee on Investments, and we are still engaging on that. So I remained silent from February, January, February, March, because it was a subject that was before Parliament, and I could not talk about it because I could leave. I left it to other members to engage, to give, to criticize the report and to table evidence and question some issues of which it is being done. And that is why, that is part of, I had made I did a press conference immediately after the Chinese came in and signed the financial agreement, because the report is before Parliament. Wait for Parliament to approve or to reject. And again, some Kenyans have gone to court to petition about the same railway.
Do you think you're going to get anything out of this?
I'm hoping that Parliament will do a good job on that report, because I know we will reject it. And court, I expect judiciary to work on it, because it is unconstitutional. The engagements with the railway deals is very unconstitutional. Any court of law will really reject it, and they will stop it.
Ole Kaburu on Twitter asks, did you finally deliver your much-awaited maiden speech?
No, I had delivered it last year. I don't know why they were complaining, because you know, it was stories that they were trying to blackmail Kenyans and to abuse me so that I look like I'm a coward, that I've never given a maiden speech before Parliament. But that was not true. Those are some of the ways they were trying to spoil my name.
Can I ask you though, don't you think you're signing your political death, if you like, in this, as you continue pushing on, you know, URP and the deputy president? Don't you think you're playing on dangerous ground, that when it comes to the next election possibly, and the same arrangement remains, you might not see, you know, come back to Parliament?
I will always come to Parliament if I raise issues of concern to Kenyans. If you see, when the Honorable now Deputy President William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto started engaging the Honorable Raila Odinga when he was a Prime Minister, most people thought that he was killing his career. But you know, Kenyans are smart. They know who is telling the truth, and they will always die for that. And Nandi's people are not, you know, I come from a background that is not made up of one community. It is cosmopolitan because of the tea estates. Every tribe have a face of Kenya in Nandi Hills. We have a lot of people from all over, even from across Rwanda. We have Southern Sudanese, we have Tanzanians,
and they are
voters, Somalis, and they are my voters, and they support me because they believe I'm saying the truth. And it is upon them to see and weigh who is telling Kenyans the truth and who is lying. And if I were to lose an election on the basis of I fought for them, on the basis of I stood for against things that were not right, I stood against corruption, I stood against negative ethnicity, then that is an election I'm willing to lose. If I were to lose like that, I will not regret. I want to lose an election because I have nothing to offer. I really want to lose an election if I were to lose, if I just watch corruption happening and I've got nothing to do. We have to change this country, James. We have to change. And you just wait. Look at this place. Give us time. Most members of Parliament are tired with most of these issues that are happening. We have to change this country. Look at the way terrorists recruit our young people into terrorism. We have young people who have gone through schools and there is no space for them to get to employment. If you are to recruit Kenyans for any cause, at the moment they are willing. any cause, because they have no jobs, poverty is real, there is no infrastructure, we are moving backwards. They have lost hope, most young people. If you manage to see what was happening in Coast, there were young people who were really young kids, not even youths, less than 15 years. And they are willing to do anything. They are willing to explore, they are willing to kill, they want to do anything because they've lost hope. When I see such things, James, I really want to fight. I really want to ask our brothers to lead this country, to make decisions that can change this country. 1 year down the line, I cannot see any. I don't see people getting employment opportunities. I don't see our economy moving forward. I'm not seeing infrastructure being constructed all over. Because if you want to transform Kenya, you have to address infrastructure as number one responsibility, and then security.
George Kisuni on Twitter asks, is William Ruto a weak partner in Jubilee?
He has resorted to being weak. We don't know whether he was compromised or something. If you were watching that clip, I was really complaining because I used to believe that he was shortchanged. But I believe now that's more than being shortchanged.
What do you think is happening?
It looks like he was compromised.
By who or what?
By TNA.
Doesn't he have a 50-50 position? If
he no longer talks about that. He talks about this government is one, of which it is one, but it has a background of URP, TNA. 50-50 makes it one. Talk about the 50-50. When you say 50-50, they are complaining and they want to say one. We mean the same thing, but you have to say 50-50 to come to one.
Why do you think that 50 of URP is not pronounced?
It is never pronounced. You look at the way they're engaging. It seems most URP are complaining. He does not make any decision. He has resorted to being a prophet of doom. When issues to do with the wage bill, national disaster, he is the one to go and announce that we need to sack Kenyans. If it is shoot to kill, when you are addressing about terrorism, it is him to be on the front line and announce that we want to start now shooting to kill. If it is issues to do with devolution, you know, as national government, we have to support devolution because that is the only way we can move forward. But he's using senators to jeopardize county governments.
I was going to ask you, that was my next question, on the issue of devolution. We've gone back and forth, you know, between the national government and the county governments, and the popular charge has been that this government is undermining devolution. Do you think the president and his deputy, from your dealings and from your understanding and from the way you see things, do you think they support devolution?
They don't. They don't. They stopped long ago.
Did they ever support a devolution?
I doubt. Because what are they doing for devolution? You know, moving around the country telling Kenyans that this governor is failing, that this governor is corrupt. Moving around with senators who want to say they want to praise national government. You look at the senators they walk around with. They have no place for devolution. Them, they just want to give credit to national government. That, oh, we are the ones defending the deputy president and the president. And their responsibility is not that, to defend the national government. Their responsibility is very clear in Article 96 of our Constitution. They are so focused on Article 96(3), and they are leaving 1 and 2. They go for 3 because they want to say we play an oversight role to county governments. But they are leaving 1. Which one is important? Is it 1 or 3? 1 is a question of you have to protect and defend county governments. We want to see them working very closely with the county governments. You know, they have They have arrangements in the county assemblies, but they don't sit there. They should be there to see, to play an oversight within the county assembly and from Senate when necessary. But they are not engaging like that. Those in CORD are busy lecturing Kenyans on how Jubilee is failing. Those in Jubilee, I mean Senate, are busy telling Kenyans how Jubilee government is working well. So they have missed the point. Senate have no responsibility to lecture us about how national government is failing or is moving forward. We have the National Assembly where they have the responsibility. When issues are not moving, we talk about it and we handle it at the National Assembly. Them, they should be more focused on devolution because we have placed a lot of resources and they should work very closely. We want to see senators being very friendly with the governors. And
so do you see a hand in the national government in effect?
Because they walk around with them. They are the ones hiring choppers for them to move around lecturing on how county governments are failing. They move around with them, doing fundraisings. I don't know why Kenya, we should have deputy presidents and presidents who do fundraisings. You know, we want to see them launch projects. We want to see them pursue other national development and not moving around and giving out 1 million shillings in a fundraiser. That is why we are not moving forward. Which country are we really trying to focus on engaging like them? Go to Korea, all these serious countries. Leadership of any country, you cannot see a prime minister or a senior government official moving around doing fundraisings on weekends, over the weekends. They should be busy engaging on development issues. Development means addressing security, addressing our infrastructure that are failing. Look at the laptop project for the last 1 year. And is it really necessary? It is hardly 2 weeks when we were watching Kenyans in Baringo dying over no food. You see our police officers, they don't have, they cannot move. They have no cars to move around, enough vehicles to move around. You see the standards of their housing. If you go to a police station, you will not believe. The police officers are sacrificing. That is why they have resorted to taking handouts.
I must ask you, there's a motion that is coming in Parliament by Egembe South MP Dikalinturi on censure or impeach Cabinet Secretary Anne Waiguru. Are you one of the signatories? I'm one of the signatories. What do you aim to achieve in that motion? We want to restrict our engagements to law. Most of the Cabinet Secretaries have resorted to engaging in their kangaroo ways of engaging because there are procedures. There is a constitution. You restrict your engagement to procedures. If you want to sack someone, don't sack them over the weekend over a text message. You just write a text message that, oh, you're losing your job. Then can you hand over? Engage in a proper manner. Write a letter to someone. Tell them why you want to remove them. If you are moving them for no reason, tell them, as government, we have the responsibility to run their affairs, whether we want to move you to wherever, but engage as a matter of procedure, not just for the sake of it. You want to have, you do it in a rush, like Rugut was a terrorist, so that you need to engage him and you give it some distance. No? So you think, we'll start to wind up, and I'm going to ask you to do several questions. One, are you unable without a cause? What is your cause in the end? We want to put the government on course. You know, we have a different constitution now, and that is why some psychopaths don't get to know. The responsibility of Parliament, whether Senate or National Assembly, is to play an oversight role, to legislate, and as leaders we have to provide
solutions, not just raising problems. When I talked about the railway, I said my suggestion was that we should make it competitive so that we have value for our money. That's number one. Number two, let us have a double track, not a single track. And let us go electric, not diesel. Because why are we busy with Geothermal Development Corporation, GDC? Why are we trying to produce power? To do what with the power? To light this country? No. There are many other engagements we need to do with our power. So there is possibility of us in Parliament. I'm not just being a critic without a cause. I'm praising, because it is sad. 50 years after independence, we are languishing in poverty. Kenyans have gone to school, there is no employment. Security is what you see. And we want to say, oh, we are so focused in improving and making our economy a double digit. You can't make it. Tourism is key if we want to develop, because we are one of the destinations where anybody would want to be, but they want to be safe. They really want to be safe. So you have to address security, address infrastructure, talk about marketing. You have to market. What is happening in Dubai and Abu Dhabi? They have created tourist attraction sites.
I must ask you finally, do you think this government will perform from where you sit?
They will not. If they go this way, they are not moving. You know, 1 year is a lot because we have only 5 years. So if 1 is nothing, then even 5 years are nothing. Because after 1, you have 4. And if you treat 1 as nothing, then even 1 will be nothing, then you are left with 3. And if you continue that way, we will not move. We are not moving. You look at the way Kibaki left. We are still stuck there. In fact, we are not even stuck there. We are moving backward. Because I know of 3 roads in our place that were initiated by Kibaki, and they were commissioned then. They are not being built now. You know, we have to really do it 24/7. We need 24/7 because we are lagging behind. And guys are moving forward. Ethiopians are moving forward. Ugandans, our brothers here, are almost overtaking us. Rwanda, they were after their issues with insecurity then in 90s. And they are almost beating us. Tanzania's, our brothers, are moving forward. What is happening in Kenya?
And we're lagging behind.
We are busy with cheap tribalism, corruption, 24/7. Kenya's, the leadership corrupt up to on a Sunday. They have no break. If they were to give Kenyans a break of just 1 week, you will see our economy moving. It's only the...
Charles, we have to finish, but quickly, 30 seconds, if you look at that camera, if the president and the deputy were listening and watching, what would tell them? 30 seconds, very quickly.
I'll tell them that it is high time they need to make decisions. Let them... We want to transform this country. And the only sure way, engage your leadership in terms of rule of law and focus on how to change this country. Address unemployment, talk about insecurity, talk about infrastructure and others that are going to transform this country. Thank you so much.
Why won't you leave Jubilee?
We have to, we have to change from within.
But you're unhappy, it's not going to work. Why won't you just say, well...
We will change from within. They don't own Jubilee. The owners of Jubilee are down there, the grassroots. It is not me, it's not the president, it's not the deputy president.
What did the said people say you're being paid to destabilize Jubilee?
They are saying, they have to say stories. Let them formulate stories. But Kenyans know what I'm talking about. Because it's clear. When I talked about the railway, they saw it. I talked about unfairness in terms of employment. And you can see, you said about 60% is 2 tribes. To me, 60% is 1 community. And now another 20 is another. So it's about 80% 2 communities and 20% the rest of Kenyans.
Nandi Hills MP.
Thank you so much.
Charles Keter. Thank you very much. Saying as it is, no holds barred. You've had his thoughts and opinions on a wide ranging of issues, starting from the standard gauge railway, national cohesion, corruption, Jubilee politics, URP, all of it. It will be online in the next few hours. Thank you very much. Morning Express continues. We're going to take a news break. When we come back, we'll change things drastically. A lot. Don't go too far.